Morning. It's Friday morning, so we'll move and then we'll spend some time meditating after we move. It's right at 8 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and just get started. So this month we've been focusing on our thought, feeling, body, the Manomaya Kosha. And as I've been thinking about what I wanted to talk about this morning and what our meditation would focus on, when I really learned to pay attention to all of the sensations happening in my body, it was a pretty profound experience. It was like a light bulb that kind of shone and has grown brighter as I've moved through my life. And I probably have told this story before, but I'd had a miscarriage and was in a lot of emotional pain, a lot of physical pain, and it was on a Sunday. My family was all at church, and I had spent hours crying and praying in frustration with God. Why can't I understand this? Why is my body and the world designed this way? Like, why is there this kind of suffering that we, let's see, I'm just gonna, why is this not explained? Why is this living in a body so hard? And after I had exhausted myself with this anger at God, the answer I got, it was just like, how can I understand this and how can I feel better? And the answer I got was just 2 words: embrace and feel. So I didn't need to fight the experience or think it needed to be any different than it was. I just needed to embrace it and allow myself to completely feel. And in that circumstance, in that pain of loss and the physical pain of going through that miscarriage, right? It was just to feel all of the pain of it. And just allow myself to completely enter into that. And I know I've told this story before, but right, so our experience is primarily our internal experience. It really determines how we perceive the world outside of us. And it's so important that we start to cultivate our relationship with everything that's happening in ourselves. And so we'll meditate with that as after we move, and we'll just kind of get into our bodies here, and then we'll sit and just practice this embracing, the saying yes to all of it, and that all of the experiences that we have belong. They're part of the complete whole of the experience that we have in this body, in this life. So we're going to kind of go facing each end of our mat. So it may be nice to have the screen kind of along the long edge of your mat. It's not necessary, but I'm going to start, let's see, I'm going to start at this end. So just kind of have your right knee facing me if you want to mirror me. Otherwise, you can just listen. But just find a comfortable seat and just feel your connections with the floor, feel your body breathing. Just kind of notice the quality of your energy in this new day. And just find little movements with your neck. You can drop your chin, rock your head from side to side, and don't go seeking for really intense sensation. Just kind of ease yourself into this. Moving your head, just getting a little bit of a stretch in your neck. And as you let your head go from side to side, you can start to let your shoulders move a little more. And connect this with your breath. Let yourself hear your breath come in and out of your nose, just in a really warming way. And we'll start to find some circles with your spine. So as you inhale, just kind of reach your heart forward. And then as you exhale, push your ribs to the side and then arch your spine back. And we'll go in one direction a few times. Let your hands maybe brace your knees to kind of help you really stretch through that. And then you can switch sides. Or switch directions. And let your hands come behind you. Take your feet about mat distance apart with your knees bent, and just find your windshield wipers of your knees. Just kind of finding that easing into our hip joints here. And you can start to let it get bigger and find bigger twists with your arms as they reach past your grounded hand. Just go back and forth. And let this kind of be a whole body experience as you twist. You can think of it happening from your toes to your fingertips. And come back to center. And we'll just find a supported boat pose. Just hold on to the backs of your thighs. You can rock a little bit just to kind of start turning your core on. Forward, side to side. You can maybe kick your feet a little bit. And then we'll roll onto our backs and then maybe roll back up to your balance a few times. And the next time you come back on your back, we'll just stay there. Bend your knees. We'll find a little bit of a shoulder stretch here. So take your left or your right hand and bring it underneath the small of your back, your lumbar spine, with your palm face down. And you don't need to put too much pressure to really intensely stretch through the shoulder joint. Just do it in a way that feels friendly. Breathe. Take one or two slow, deep breaths here. Think about really extending your exhale. And if it feels like it would be a nice addition, you can drop your knees over to the left. Kind of relax through that left shoulder. And then come up through center. We'll just switch sides. So wiggle that left arm out and bring your right arm out and bring your left arm underneath you. Just breathe. You can feel your arm underneath you, and you can think about like breathing your rib cage into your arm. You're using the feedback of the arm underneath you. And after you've settled in, you can add dropping your knees to the right. And then come on up. Slide that right arm out from underneath you, and then bring your right knee into your chest. Just grab the back of your thigh and lengthen your leg. Find some ankle circles in both directions. And then just bend and straighten your knee. And flex and point your foot with that. And then release your hands, and we'll just kind of find some bike pedaling motions. Bend into your knee, into your chest, and then push your legs straight forward and then reach it up. And bend your knee, push it straight forward, and reach it up. And then we'll reverse that. So drop your straight leg forward, bend your knee into your chest. Reach up toward the ceiling. And then release that leg to the floor. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Just interlace your fingers behind your thigh. Lengthen that leg up toward the ceiling and find some circles of your ankle, both directions. And just kind of feel that ripple effect down your whole leg. And notice what angles bring the most sensation. It's just interesting. And bend and straighten while you point and flex your foot. And just connect it to your movement, and then do the opposite thing after you've done that a couple times. And with that long leg, release your hands, bend your knee into your chest, and then push that heels forward and then reach up. Just kind of moving through this joint. And then switch directions, just drop that straight leg down, knee into your chest, foot to the ceiling. And then release. Push into your feet, and then connect your triceps with the floor. Hands face each other, fingers face the ceiling. So really engage through your back, but see if you can keep your shoulder blades spread apart at the same time. So push into your triceps, but then let your shoulder blades stay spread apart. Just feel that engagement there, and then release it. Do it one more time. Push into your feet, lift your hips. We'll just find a few rounds of a moving bridge. So just lift and lower. Just one more. And then bring your knees into your chest. Let them come about as wide as your armpits. You can reach for your outer feet and find a happy baby. And just breathe here and just kind of notice what it feels like here at the very beginning of class. And then release your hands. We're just going to kind of stay in this dead bug shape. Okay. So your knees are kind of bent at a 90-degree angle. We're going to roll over onto our left side. So roll away from the camera. And just keep the shape. Your right arm will stack on top of your left, or your right hand will stack on top. And then we're going to roll all the way to the other side. So lead with that right arm. Reach your right arm up. And then that right knee will follow left knee will follow, and then come all the way onto your other side. So just kind of rolling back and forth. So just go back and forth and let this kind of feel like a massage for your back. Let's go back and forth a couple more times. So arm, knee, knee, arm. And then when we get back to our right side, we're going to straighten your left leg toward the foot of your mat. Use this right arm on the floor to push you up. So we come all the way up, and right knee is in to your left inner thigh. And then just kind of frame that bent knee first and find some movement in your spine, just back and forth. And kind of think of taking your ribcage up and over, and then take it up and over to the other side. So we're just kind of snaking. I know a little bit of a snake through our spine. And then turn to face that left leg. You can bend your knee and feel like you're dragging your heel back and reach your heart forward, and then push your heel away to round yourself up and just wave through your spine here. Starting to grate your hamstring. We'll come back to this again, so you'll have a chance to stretch a little more next time around. And then put your right hand behind you and just kind of put some weight into it, and then push the floor away. And you can find a little bend in your elbow. Just kind of play with the weight in your hand. And then bring both hands behind you. Bend this left knee and then stack your right ankle on top. So we're in a figure 4 here that's seated. And you can roll from side to side, maybe get a little bit of massage in your hips. And let your left leg be as far away from you as you need to let this rotation feel okay in your hips. So we're going to move from here into a standing split. So you can watch me first before you try it. Or if you just totally understand it, then you can just do it. But we're gonna rock this right foot all the way to the floor and twist. I'm gonna plant into my right foot and just lift my left leg. And here I am in a standing L shape for me. And breathe there. And then bend both knees, tap your left knee to the back of your right calf, and then lengthen back out. And do that a couple of times. Tuning into that strength. And then bring your left leg down. Set your feet up for standing forward fold. And just bow. Just kind of notice the difference between one side and the other. Interlace your fingers, soften your knees, and inhale to roll up. Bring your hands to the level of your heart, and then soften your knees. Turn your palms inside out and reach. Inhale and reach high. And then exhale, interlace your fingers behind your back. Inhale to open your heart, soften your knees, and let yourself fold. You can open your shoulders here. Release your hands in front of you. Interlace the unusual way. Soften your knees. Roll yourself up. And then push your palms away. Inhale and reach high. And then release your hands down. Plant down into that right foot. And just bring your hands to your hips. Lift your left knee. And we'll find some hip circles here. So you'll take that knee out to the side, lead with your heel to reach back, and then come forward. Do each direction 2 times. So this time we'll push our heel back, out to the side, and forward. And back, out to the side, and forward. And then just take a big step back with that left foot to find a high lunge. Reach your arms high. And then just interlace your fingers and bring them behind your neck. And just let your hand be on your neck. And you can push your neck into your hands and pull your hands into your neck and kind of traction your neck a little bit toward the ceiling. And then let that relax, open your elbows, reach up through your heart. And then exhale, hands to the floor. Bring that back knee down and just greet your low lunge. Wiggle a little bit here. We'll step back into a plank or a table. Just plant your hands, lift your back knee, step back. So you can have knees down or let them come up and just greet your core. You feel stability through your arms. We'll meet in a child's pose. Back into child's pose. Push into your shins, just inhale to roll yourself up and reach your heart forward. And then push yourself back. Just do that 2 more times. Just move at your own pace with your own breath. Just inhaling to a little back bend, and then exhaling back to your child's pose. But let your back bend feel really spacious. You don't want any crunching in your lower back. So just notice if you can just open through your heart and not hinge any point in your back. And then we'll come back up to a table. So you're going to plant your left hand right under your heart and cross your left ankle over your right. Just kind of lift your knees up. Actually, other way, right ankle over left. And then push into that left hand and bring your bum to the floor. And be seated at the other end of our mat. So find those circles of your spine here. And just go back the other way. Same thing we just did. Come on to your sitting bones. Reach your legs forward, maybe float your hands this time in your boat. And you can find a little bit of rocking. So just to kind of turn your core on, so it just reflexively has to respond to what's happening in your body. And then find your rocks. You can hold on to the backs of your thighs and just find your balance. And then the next time you come back, we'll just stay. So just lower down, feet to the floor. This time we'll find some circles with our hips and our bridge. So let your toes, they can just be free and floating. Your heels will be grounded. And make sure this feels good in your knees. So as we move, if it feels weird in your knees, just move your feet away from you or let your hip circles be different. Let your knees knock together, push into your feet, lift your hips, and then let your knees go wide and bring your hips down. Knees together, lift, knees wide and lower. And see if you can let your sacrum or like your whole pelvis come up symmetrically. Notice if one side feels stronger than the other. And then we'll switch directions. So start with your knees wide, lift your hips, let your knees come together and lower. And then release that. Draw your shoulder blades together, push into your feet, lift your hips, and then just find your bridge pose that you most enjoy. Maybe interlace fingers underneath you. And see if you can find a little bit of fluidity through your spine here. Maybe sway from side to side, like you're a little bit of a hammock. And then release that and come into your happy baby. Just pause. And then release your grip. We'll just find those rolls from side to side. So roll over to your right. Let your left hand be stacked on top of your right hand. And then lead with your left arm. And then your left knee, right arm. And just go back and forth here. Right, and just kind of let this gentle rocking be really soothing for your whole system. Okay, the next time we come over onto our left side, just straighten through your right leg and use that momentum to push yourself up. So we're in a Janu Shirshasana from your bent knee with your fingertips and just rock your spine from side to side. And then face that lengthened right leg. Bend into your knee and just kind of feel like you're dragging your heel back to reach your heart forward. And then you can push it away and come on out. Let's just do that a few more times. Let's do one more. And then we'll find that weight into our left hand and just kind of play with it there. You can bend into your elbow, maybe play with what feels stable in your shoulder. Notice the relationship of your hand on the floor. And then bring both hands behind you. Bend into your right knee, cross that left leg over. And you can rock from side to side. Left and right. And you might notice a place in your glute medius or your piriformis as you come to the side that kind of feels like a good massage. You can rock there a couple of times. And we'll move into that standing split from here. So you'll rock your left foot to the floor, push down into that left foot, and lengthen your right leg up. And then bend both knees, tap that right knee to your left calf, and then lengthen out. Do that 2 or 3 more times. Bend and strengthen. Bend and lengthen. And then release. Find your standing forward fold. Just arrange your feet parallel. I like hip distance apart. Soften your knees, interlace your fingers. Inhale to roll yourself up. Bring your hands to the level of your heart. Soften your knees. Push your palms away. Inhale to reach high. Exhale, interlace your fingers behind your back. Draw your elbows together. Open your heart. Soften through your knees and bow. Open your shoulders any way that feels good for you. You can even just keep your hands on your sacrum and let your shoulders relax. Release your hands. Interlace the unusual way. Soften into your knees. Bring your hands up to the level of your heart. And then push your palms away around your upper spine. Inhale to reach high. And then just exhale, release your hands. Ground down into that left foot and lift your right knee. And we'll find those hip circles. So knee out to the side. Lift that foot, lead with your foot behind you. And then come back to center. Knee out. Oh, my balance is tricky. And back. And then switch directions. Lead with your heel back. Come out to the side and forward. Lead with your heel back, out to the side and forward, and then take a big step back with your left foot to find a high lunge. Just reach your arms high. And then you can find that traction for your neck here. Push your neck into your hands, like you're lengthening your skull up toward the ceiling. And open your heart. You're going to open your elbows. Exhale, hands down. Inside that right foot or left foot, and bring your right knee down. And just find your wiggles on this side. You can sway your hips from side to side. Move into plank. So plant your hands, plank or table. Just listen to what you need. Step that left foot back. And just pause wherever you are. You can come down into child's pose and just kind of do that wave from child's pose into your heart opening like upward dog. Or you can do it from downward facing dog. And just wave yourself forward. And find a little bit of drawing your shoulder blades together on your back. So either way, child's pose, ripple yourself forward and open your heart, or downward facing dog. And then bring your knees to the floor. We'll find our way in a table. Plant your right hand under your heart. You're going to cross your left ankle on top of your right. And just push into that hand and roll yourself over. We'll go through it faster on each side one more time. Just find those circles of your spine. You can go each direction. And then find your balance on your sitting bones. Reach your legs into your boat. You can rock your boat a little bit. And then we'll find our rocks. So if you want to make these a little bigger this time, as you rock back, you can plant the length of your hands on the floor and maybe even reach your hips up off the floor. Just listen, like if that doesn't feel good in your neck and your shoulders, don't worry about it, but it can be kind of fun. Let's do one more rock. We'll make our way onto our backs. Knees bent, feet flat on the floor. And just one round of bridge here. Lift your hips. Interlace your fingers. Find some dragging of your heels back towards your shoulders. And just one more breath. And then release. Happy baby pose. Grab those outer edges of your feet. Say hello to your hips and your hamstrings. And then we'll just rock from side to side. So rock to your left. And then lead with your right arm and your right knee. Left knee, left arm. We'll go back. One more time. Lead with your left arm, left knee, right arm. And then this time, as we come back, we're going to straighten through that left leg. You can push up through your right arm to come to that seat, your Janu Shirshasana. And then just reach and find your forward fold over that left leg. And inhale yourself up. Plant your right hand behind you, and you can play with rocking onto your right shin and reaching your left arm up. You can go back and forth a couple of times here. Find your forward fold. And then plant your hand behind you and find your flash dance. What do we want to call this? Just extension. Let's just do that one more time. And then release. Take a couple of breaths in your figure four. So right ankle is over that left knee. Reach through your heart. You can wiggle a little. And then standing split. So you'll rock that right foot to the floor. Push into your foot. Lengthen through your left leg. And then find your little squat. Tap your knee into your calf. And then lengthen out. And then release your foot to the floor. Find your standing forward fold. Just check in with your body. Interlace your fingers, soften your knees. Roll yourself up, hands to the level of your heart. Soften your knees, push your palms away, round through your upper spine. Inhale and reach high. And just release your hands, bring your weight into your right foot, lift your left knee, and then we'll find a tree pose. So you can bring that left foot to your inner calf or to your inner thigh. Either way. And then maybe reach your arms high. And just think of everything hugging into the center. From here, we'll take a big step back into that high lunge. So step that left leg back. Reach your arms high. Interlace your fingers behind your head, and this time just really push your head into your hands to lengthen through that left side in front of your hip. And then reach hands up. Hands to the floor. We're going to step right back into our plank or table. Child's pose or downward facing dog. Find a couple of waves around your spine and then reach your heart forward. And then push your way back. Knees to the floor in your table. Left hand under your heart. Right ankle on top. And then just push into your hand. Find your seat facing the other end of your mat. It's our last time through. Just find your circles. And then lift your hips. Find your boat, maybe bigger. And then we can find those rocks. So you can use your fingertips to kind of really push as you come back. Keep your gaze straight at the ceiling. And you can push, maybe even lift your hips up off the floor. And then lengthen your spine to the floor. Find your bridge pose. Really briefly. Release that happy baby pose. Just for one good exhale. And then find your rocking. Rock to your right. And then open up to your left. All the way over to your left. And then open with that right arm all the way over to your right. And then when we come over to the left side, lengthen through that right leg. Reach it out to the right. Use your arm to push yourself up into that Janu Shirshasana. Left foot to your right inner thigh, and you can just let yourself bow. You can bend your knee as much as you need to let this feel like a stretch in your hamstring and not too much in your lower back. Come on up, plant that left hand behind you. Just reach your right arm up, maybe rock onto that left shin. And just go back and forth here a few times. Reach. Lower down. Find your figure four, left ankle on top. Just 2 good breaths there. And then rock this left foot to the floor. Plant your fingertips and lengthen your right leg up. And bend and tap knee to calf. And then reach. And bend and tap. Reach. Bend and tap. Reach. And then feet hip distance apart. Let yourself hang. And release your fingers the unusual way. Soften into your knees, roll up, hands to heart. Soften your knees, push your palms away. Inhale or reach high. And then release your hands down. Find your tree on the other side, so ground through that left foot. Lift up your right knee and bring it out to the right. You can have your foot below your knee or above your knee, but no pressure on your knee joint. And really hug everything toward the midline. So think of pushing that left leg into your foot and your foot into your leg. You can grow your branches. And then we'll take a big step back to that high lunge. Reach high. And release your fingers behind your head and just kind of hold the weight of your head. Release your hands to the floor. Step back into your plank or table. We'll find 2 more waves here, either from child's pose or downward facing dog. Let your spine really kind of round as you draw in towards your belly, and then let your heart unfurl. And push your way back to child's pose or downward facing dog. Just one more. And then find a place to rest. Just collect yourself in a child's pose for a few breaths. And find a place where it feels really gentle for your shoulders. So maybe hands by your feet. Maybe just kind of connecting fingertips above your head. And then let your breath slow down. And then make your way up to a seat. And we'll set up for our meditation. So just find whatever props you need to sit and be comfortable, or to lay and be comfortable. And so it's always an option to do this laying down if it just gets too tiring for your back, or find a place where you can sit with your back against a wall or a couch if you're sitting on the floor. I've got this big bolster, and so it can be nice to kind of prop something like this, a firm couch cushion, at an angle, like higher at one end. And then you can lay down. So you've got support for your spine, and you could do this for your meditation instead of sitting if like sitting just gets too intense. So find your place. And our practice is just to say yes to all of it. And so just feel the aliveness in your body after we've kind of woken it all up. You can feel your feet and your ankles and your shins and calves and knees. You feel your thighs. and that connection of your legs to your pelvis and your hip joints. And feel your lower spine really mobile and strong support. And then all of those soft organs all around it, just contained with that elasticity of your muscles and your fascia and your skin, just holding all of those vital parts of you together. Feel your lungs expand inside of that cage of your rib cage. Feel your heart beating. Feel your collarbones broad. Your shoulders relaxed. Length of your arms. Feel your hands. And just notice any sense of aliveness or tingling in your hands. Notice the curve of your neck vertebrae, where they're stacked and arranged just to support your skull and be able to move so you can see and participate in the world. Just notice all of the sense organs in your face, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your ears, and your brain and your skull. Just feel the entirety of your body. You just come home here. Bring your awareness to your heart space and really let it feel open and spacious. And from that place, just welcome everything that's presented to you. Everything that's happening in this moment, just say, welcome. That willingness to just embrace with open arms and open heart whatever arises. Thoughts, feelings, people, situations, all conditions, the weather, the mess. Sensations in your body. To really, truly find this welcoming embrace. You often have to let go. Let go of our desire for certainty or security or approval or control. And when I work with this, I often think of Joseph Smith in Liberty Jail, pleading with God and asking, like, where are you? Why are you so hidden? Why are you allowing all these horrible things to happen? And the answer was, all these things shall be for thy experience. God is hidden in all of it. He's woven through the fabric of all of our experiences. But we often have to let go of our desire for control. We have to let go of our desire to fix things or change things or to be certain of an outcome. It's just welcoming and saying, this belongs. Let yourself just sit with this openness. Where you can really notice, feel, and sense the presence of God in and through all of it. That love, presence, healing, and grace. And just let that word welcome be your anchor if you notice your mind wandering. Just see with your breath and your heart if you can just say welcome and find that opening. You can even notice if tension creeps into parts of your body. See if you can just soften and welcome there. And let go of the need for control. It's from this place of open surrender and welcoming that we grow our capacity to have empathy. And we can really just say yes to our own experience. We can feel that we really are connected to the experiences of others. And we can have compassion and deep wisdom, which inevitably leads to a sense of intense gratitude and joy. It's our internal experience that really translates into the actions that we take. And we can get really clearly acquainted with that. Our actions can be in deeper integrity with our true nature. You just bring your hands to your heart and find that inner smile. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Does anyone have any thoughts or comments? Let's see who's here.
I really loved being able to lie down. That was really wonderful for me. And I'm doing this outside, so the breeze was coming through. It was great.
Awesome. I love that.
I was having the opposite. My son was, Tim came in the other room right next to me and was blaring his podcast while he was taking a shower. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna welcome the whole experience. So I don't know if I was welcoming it or if I was fighting it, but you know, it was.
Yeah, but you know, that's so real life, right?
It is.
And you know, that's why we practice, is so that, yeah, because sometimes, right, we are just like in the most idyllic place, supported, laying on our backs with the beautiful breeze, you know. And sometimes, yeah, someone's clanging things all around us.
By any chance, Amy, did you see the picture I posted at the waterfall with the guy who was meditating on the rocks, and my son and all of his cousins were underneath, and it was like this natural water slide and waterfall, and people were cliff diving and all of the stuff, and there's this guy just sitting in the middle of it all, you know, meditating. I caught the picture of him like above the kids, and you know, you can't get the full picture of like how obnoxious they were, but I was like, he isn't even batting an eye up there. But if you look on my
I'll
page,
have to go back and look for that.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know too.
because one of my friends said, oh, it took me a minute because, you know, like he's Asian. So like he's blends into the rocks. It's not like he's this stark white guy, like, you know, popping out of the rocks. He just blends into the rocks. So anyway, it's pretty funny. But I
Yeah.
thought, man, how does he do that? You know? So at least it wasn't his son, like, you know, making whooping noises underneath him like my son was.
Well, it's all an exercise in letting go of control, right? We have what we have.
No, it's crazy. That's just kind of what we're all living in the middle of right now. I feel
Oh
like.
my gosh. How I was